So I've been inspired by my late grandmother, who was a Cypriot Turk, and my grandfather, who was an Albanian. So we're bringing some Mediterranean flavours to this meal. But the other thing I'm excited about is onions. Usually they're part of the show, but in today's recipe, they're the star of the show. I'm really excited about this because people don't really think of onions as the star of the show. We use it every day in life. Imagine a life without onions. I couldn't. It's up there with, salt, pepper, but we never really revere it. So what I'm going to do is cut the onions up like this, and we're going to peel them into these kind of rings, just blanch them so they're a bit softer, and then we're going to stuff them. So this is pretty much like our dumpling casing, if you're thinking about it. My grandfather came from Albania in the 1930s, and they started vegetable farming pretty much straight off the bat. They did a little bit of dairy farming, and then World War II broke out. And the Pacapanul Army base, which was about 2 hours from Werribee South, where my family settled, they needed vegetables, and so that's how Werribee South became a vegetable growing area. And since then, the Velishas have grown vegetables, and I'm one of the last ones, but not only are we passionate about growing vegetables, I guess what I'm really passionate about is teaching young people how to use vegetables, eat vegetables, and think about having a career in horticulture. That's why we do veg education, which is really centred around inspiring young people to not just think about farming as farming, but to think about, look at me, I'm a farmer and now I'm on a cooking show, This could be you. So there's so many different avenues. Farming is food, so if you're into food, think of different careers in horticulture. And we're definitely the best out of all the ag industries, so don't forget that. You heard it here first. We put the onions in the hot water, and that was just to soften them. I'll take them out of the water so they don't overcook. Then I'll do the filling in a pan and we'll assemble it all together. My nana learned to cook because when she came over to meet my grandfather, and it was an arranged marriage like it was back in those days, she came and she didn't really know she was coming to be with a farmer. She thought she'd better learn to cook because that was the smart way of getting out of the really hard work. She saw ploughing the fields and she decided that learning how to cook barek for my grandfather was a much better choice. So there you go. So lamb mince is very traditional in Turkish and Albanian cultures, more than beef. Lambs are kind of easier to grow. This is really much the way that people do cook in those kind of Mediterranean villages. They use a little bit of meat and they use vegetables to really fill out their meal, and that's why they look so young and they live so long. Turkish people use a lot of mint, dried mint as well as fresh mint. I've just got fresh mint here, and we're going to mix that with the lamb. That's going to be a big flavour part of the filling. Then we'll use the tomato puree to bake it in the oven, and you'll have like a dumpling or a dolma or whatever you want to call it, but onion is the star of the show. Kind of the weird bit, the exciting bit, the thing that you don't think of at home is using the onion as the star, and it's going to be like a dumpling casing. We'll fill the tray and then we'll bake them in the oven with some tomato puree, which really is just a steamer to add extra flavour. I'll get all these ready, I'll put them in the oven, and then I'll have a taste. I know we always want to serve it up on fancy plates, but I'm being very traditional, and as my nana would serve it, straight out of the oven, on the tray it was cooked in. Now it's very hot, but how delicious does it look? I'll be saying it's good regardless, but anyway. Very good. Just like I'm in the village.